Hello and good morning. It's Heather and Phil, and we are at Renaissance Park, which is a park on the north side of the river just across from downtown Chattanooga. And Forrest gave us a scouting report saying that there's a lot of tree frogs here, and Heather loves frogs, so we're here looking for those. And we've already kind of gotten started, but all we've seen so far is mockingbirds and English house sparrows and a feral cat. But we're going to keep looking for the frogs and whatever else we can find. Today I'm shooting with the 100 to 400 lens, and Heather is using her 100 to 500. I also brought my macro lens just in case. We'll start off with a couple of photographs that Heather made using the 100 to 500 lens. First, it's a mockingbird there in some foliage, and here is a song sparrow that Heather photographed. This was in a little garden that was really close to where we parked. This park has lots of areas like this that are just completely grown up and wild, and there's some beautiful flowers that you'll find here, and also hopefully tree frogs. Heather and I haven't spotted any yet, and I wouldn't say either one of us is really good at picking out a tree frog in such a dense growth. Forrest, who gave us the tip, is probably a lot better at that than us. But maybe we'll find one. In the meantime, I'm taking pictures of birds and flowers and whatever is beautiful that I can see. I made a couple of photographs using the 100 to 400 lens of this male English house sparrow that was kind of near the same area as the birds that Heather photographed. Kind of a slow start when you're looking for frogs. I'm here on the pier now at Renaissance Park. It doesn't quite go out all the way over the water, but pretty close. And there's the John Ross Market Street Bridge and the Tennessee Aquarium in the background. But it does stick out over the flat area, and Heather and I are still looking for frogs, and it looks like Heather has found something to photograph. Ah, she's got a mockingbird framed up on a nice perch. Did you get the shot?
Yeah. Still working it.
Here is that mockingbird on the nice perch that Heather found. Really beautiful photograph, I thought, so I decided to steal Heather's composition and make a shot of that beautiful bird on that beautiful perch myself. I thought both of our shots turned out nice. Well, Heather and I are just not very good at spotting frogs. I'm sure they're all over the place. This entire place looks like great tree frog habitat, but we're just not finding them. We should have got Forrest to come with us because he's good at spotting them. In the meantime, I'm still making photos of these beautiful flowers that I'm seeing occasionally along the trail. Here are a few examples of the flowers that we were seeing, and maybe that's why we never found any frogs, because every time we ran across a beautiful flower, we stopped and made a photograph of that instead of continuing our search for frogs. So those are a couple of my flower pictures, and Heather found this discarded exoskeleton shell from a cicada bug. Isn't that amazing looking? I spotted this area over here and thought it might make a good landscape photography shot, but with the 100 to 400 I have too much focal length. And then Heather and I came over here and we made some photographs of a flower that's over here somewhere. And then Heather said that she liked the moss on this tree, and I decided to try to shoot the moss that she had found, and I framed it up, and it looked like the composition might be kind of nice, but at 1/100th my ISO was like 8,000, so I slowed my shutter speed down to 1/13th and blasted off a few shots. I think one of them might be free of motion blur. Here is that weird photograph of the tree that was laying over with all the moss on it. This is handheld 1/13th of a second, and I know it's weird, but I really do kind of like this photograph. We are just not finding any frogs. We're finding all sorts of things to photograph, mostly flowers, but we're just not finding any frogs. And while I'm enjoying the morning, I must admit I'm kind of disappointed, especially for Heather, because she loves frogs and we just haven't found any. Here is where we really started to embrace the flowers. This is Heather's photograph of this beautiful flower, and it looks like there's some honeysuckles in the background. And I made a photograph of this unusual looking flower. Look at the part that sticks way out. Doesn't that look strange? Here's Heather's photograph of another one of these flowers. I think this might be a morning glory. I'm not really exactly sure. And this next shot is a shot that I made of the same flower that Heather photographed the very first photograph during this series of photos. I thought it turned out nice. Heather made a photograph of this passion flower. What an unusual looking bloom it has, and Heather photographed that. And then I photographed this beautiful small yellow flower. I thought it turned out really nice. And then we stumbled across a garbage can, and this garbage can had this pale green assassin bug on it, and Heather photographed it on the garbage can. And while she was doing that, I got a photograph of this bee that was in one of the flowers getting some pollen. And then on the same garbage can, Heather photographed this American green crab spider that I thought turned out pretty nice. All of these with the Canon R7. We had kind of given up, thrown up the white flag, and we're slowly heading back to the car. And Heather found a box turtle right over here that she made a photograph of. And while she was making a photograph of that, I found a grasshopper over here that I photographed, and I didn't get the turtle and she didn't get the grasshopper. Then I found right here a plant leaf bug, which I photographed once before over at the garden near the food bank, and both of us got a shot of that. Here is the box turtle that Heather found, and she was photographing the box turtle, making this beautiful photograph. And while she was doing that, I was working on this grasshopper, and I thought the grasshopper was very beautiful as well. And I was trying to get Heather's attention to come over and see the grasshopper, and then I found this leaf-footed bug, and Heather photographed the leaf-footed bug, and I photographed the leaf-footed bug as well. I had seen these before over at the garden near the food bank in Chattanooga. We were happy to photograph this cute little squirrel as it was hanging around there in the area at Renaissance Park. This is my photograph of it, and here is Heather's photograph of the same cute little squirrel. Heather and I had a nice time chasing it around for a couple of minutes. We were almost back to the car on our frog failure run, and I was just taking pictures of these berries. Heather says they're American beauty berries, and Heather walked on around the other side of this bush, and there was a mockingbird, and we both got some pretty cool pictures of the mockingbird. Here is my photograph of the mockingbird on the American beauty berry, and it's interesting to see how differently Heather and I treated the colors on this. Here's Heather's photograph of the mockingbird on the American beauty berry, and we may plant one of these bushes at our house. We keep finding more creatures to photograph that are not frogs. We're almost back to the car. There's the car over there under the bridge, and there's this little garden in the middle of this parking lot, and we keep finding bugs to photograph here. Here is Heather's photograph of this red-shouldered stink bug nymph. I tried to get a photograph of it but failed, but Heather got a nice shot. And here is another pale green assassin bug. This is my photograph of the pale green assassin bug, and here is Heather's photograph of that same pale green assassin bug. She also photographed one of these earlier in the video on a garbage can. And here is one last photograph of mine of the pale green assassin bug, and it looks like it's been doing some assassinating. It has prey. Well, we are finally going to call it quits. I think we'd probably still be shooting, but we have a reservation at a restaurant on the other side of town, so we need to get over there. No frogs. We really wanted to see frogs, but we still had a nice time walking around Renaissance Park, and this is the first time I've ever shot a video exclusively with the 100 to 400, so that's pretty cool. And Heather was using her 100 to 500, and we hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, hit the bell. We hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye. I can't wave, I'm holding my camera. I'll wave with my camera. Okay, bye.